Hello, welcome to Studio Nicole. I'm Nicole, and I'm so glad that you're here with me in my messy desk. What I have here looks like an absolute mess, but it's actually more organized than it has been in a very long time. What I've been doing, and I did record this the other day while I was working on it, but I had no sound, and it took me a while to figure out what was going on with my audio. So I have a whole recording with no audio of me just digging through my scraps and putting these things together. And I probably could go back and voice over it, but I thought instead I would just show you what I've done and then maybe do one more sort of together. So I have been watching Lally Mills' free online course about making collage clusters. And her idea really just inspired me. I was very excited to get into the studio and start putting some clusters together. Now, as you know, if you've been following my channel for at all, uh, I am currently in the middle of so many different projects. I have my Oracle deck right here that I'm working on. I've got this is the Cascade journal. I'm leaving this bin on my desk so that I am reminded to continue on this. I have all of the materials for my Florida journal over here to my left. I have the Amsterdam journal that I'm still slowly working through here. Of course, I can't get a hold of it when I want it. It's right here. I just was grabbing like 5 other things at the same time. And then, my various art journals, and I have a Rolodex card over here that's been sitting on my desk. Just like component pieces that I want to work on one of these days. It's just sitting here, just taking up space. So it's not like I don't have enough to do, but I find that sometimes when inspiration hits or when the energy is here, I just need to go with it and do whatever it is that that is inspiring me. And so that brings us to Lally Mills collage clusters. It is a free course on her website. I'll include the link in the description of this video so that you can go check it out if you want. She is a mixed media artist from France, and she put together a video where she combined clusters of just scraps. Now, I don't know about you, but I have several of these bins. And I enjoy digging through it, like whenever I'm looking for something, but sometimes it's a little overwhelming. Um, and I have a hard time finding what I'm looking for sometimes. Um, I don't know. What about you? How do you feel about your scrap box? I'm on the fence. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? It's great in some ways and it's not so great in other ways. So what I did was I started working through and putting together clusters. I'm gonna like scoot all of these off to one side, and then we'll just look at them one at a time, right? Just very briefly. So, what she suggests is that you go through your clusters and you make you go through your scraps and you make little clusters of pieces that feel like they fit together. And so this is sort of like, let me bring this down so you can see a little bit better. So this is this cluster. There's some, brown paper. There's some really dark red wine colored fabric. There are some red collage papers. There's this beautiful, beautiful floral patterned paper that I've never used for anything. Some jelly prints. some magazine images, and I'm just gathering it all together because it feels cohesive in some way. And I did in some places add in some contrast if I felt like the cluster needed some contrast, then I just added that in as I was going. So this one was like dark reds. I've got this one, which was a lot of neutrals, like black and white. Um, there's lots of like neutral patterns, little scraps. This is a piece of National Geographic that I had used Citrosolve on. There's some tissue paper, some magazine text. There's this that I did, I used as a drawing in black and white scrapbook paper. This is almost like it's almost like wicker. It's not wicker, but it's something similar to that. I'm going to move this just a little bit. And then I had included just a little bit of color. So I put in this little scrap of like crepe ribbon because I thought that the rainbow colors went really well with like all the black and white and neutral. So I included that. So that's another little cluster that I made. I'm not going to go through every one, but this one is like oranges and yellows and earthy colors. This one is lots of like green and blue and turquoise and leaves. Oh, piece keeps falling out. A lot of these little pieces keep falling out. I need to get better clips. The problem is that I don't have enough of these, which is what I wanted to use. These big paper clips. I actually do have several of them, but I just couldn't find them. So I started using these clips and they're not really as convenient. So yeah, this one is a really big cluster. There's a lot of stuff in this, and it's a lot of like greens, light green and mint green and different colored greens and golds. Some green and yellow, and a little bit of blue in here. And the idea is just that this way you can grab a whole little cluster and all of the pieces are kind of cohesive. So if you wanted to do something with, this color palette, you've got a bunch of different scraps that you could all work with all together. So this one kind of was based around this lightning strike, this page. So it's like navies and black, but then I threw in some bright reds and purples because I thought that would go really nicely with the neutrals. I've got a couple different scrap piles that have some pink elements. This one has some pink and some dark red. And then here's another one with some other pinks. This one's kind of some pink and some blue and some other colors. Got a couple little pink packets here. I've got this one, which is all shades of blue, various different. Some of this is scrapbook paper. Some of these are magazine pages. Some of them are cutout pieces. Like this is what was left over after I punched some stars out. This was me testing out some handmade stamps, um, some magazine images. This has some interesting like fibers in it. So this was really fun. I did this over the weekend. I could have been working on some of my other projects, but this just, it was just exactly the amount of energy that I had, and it worked perfectly. I made several of these. As I said, like this was blue and purple. This one is kind of like some orange and some bright colors. I got one that's some purples and some greens. Like I wouldn't normally put these colors necessarily together, but in here it works. It works really well. And now I've got a little cluster. Um, some gold and some blue and yellow with um, a little bit of pink in there. And I tried to include some things that could also work as like focal points. So if I do want to make a little collage page with this, I have several things that I could use for both background or for the foreground. And so these were fun. I probably will just, I don't know, maybe I'll just tuck them back in the bin. What do you think? This back up here. Um, I feel like maybe I need to have a separate bin of these so that when I'm reaching for a cohesive cluster, like I'm reaching into a separate place rather than when I'm just looking for parts that are, sort of individual. What do you think? What do you think? Um, all right. Well, I don't have another bin within reach that I could use for actually maybe this will work. Oh. So I've got this that I picked up at a yard sale a while ago and I haven't done anything with it. I love it. It's a great like size and it's got lots of potential, but I hadn't actually done anything with it. So at least for right now, maybe not permanently, but at least for right now, oh, I'm gonna put these collage clusters in this big um compartment in the back. And it's a start. At least they're all contained and I can set them over here out of the way and come back to them in a little bit and find something better. One other thing that I did while I was working on this is I went through my scraps and I found this one's probably not the best example. I found I found, first of all, things that I probably wouldn't ever use. So like this little scrap, it is really just taking up space. So I'm gonna toss it. I have a whole bunch of these in my little trash can now from where I went through the last couple of days. It's a receipt, but otherwise, it's just tiny little scraps that really don't have any visual interest. Like they're the edges where the words, are not or something. I also went through and was pulling out anything that was like tiny or that could be torn into something tiny. So, like these little scraps, these are so tiny. I just thought that it would be handy to keep them together. Um, right? Like maybe what I would do is because this is kind of a weird shape. So maybe what I would do is sort of tear these off to make it more square. And now I have this little envelope. I just started shoving them in this little envelope because I happened to have it and it was handy. And now I have all of these little pieces in here, all sort of corralled in one place, so that when I start making these little clusters, these little collage clusters, I call those other things collage clusters, but those are like collage component clusters. These are actual clusters that have been collaged. These are the finished product. It's handy for me to have these little pieces that are sort of already torn or like already gathered in one place to make these like tiny, tiny little clusters. So I just started tearing the pieces that I had down into like square-ish components and putting them in this little envelope. So as I was going through my bin, anything tiny that was really too tiny to go in any of these, the bigger clusters went in here. And then some things just went in the garbage. Like if there is nothing really, like this is a scrap of something, but like there's not enough on here to make it worth keeping. So into the trash it goes. So I'm just cleaning out my scrap bin. And yeah, it's been pretty productive actually. So I'm gonna pull out, I actually have more of these scrap bins. So I'm going to pull another one out and we're going to make a cluster together. All right, so I've grabbed another bin of scraps. These are actually bins that I take with me when I teach art classes. I have several of these, and they are very just mixed up scraps of all kinds of things, because that way the students can kind of access, a hodgepodge of materials and resources. But I thought I would use, since I've already picked through my scrap bin, the one that I keep at my desk, I thought that in order to demonstrate like how I created those scrap clusters that I was making, I thought I would just demonstrate using a different bin full of material. So probably what I would do to start is I would grab just a couple of different things. Like there's some blue tissue paper. There's this stamped image of an eye. Um, and then maybe this image of like green and gold stones. So I would start by just like making a pile on my desk of a couple of different things. And so the blue things, and things that would go well with this pile. Um, I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe I tear this and put that over here. And maybe these circles go good with this, right? So that's maybe what I would do there. This little envelope is of a similar color, so I'm going to put that together. And then I just go through and I start building piles. And some things won't really fit with any of it because I don't really love this together. Like, I don't know that I would want to put all that together. So this is just going to go back in the bin and maybe it'll go in another cluster in the future. But I'll just keep going through and pulling out things that I think will go nicely. And when I have something with like a weird shape, I'll tear it off just because it makes it easier to store if they're kind of square-ish. So this is obviously not very square, but I'm going to kind of make it a little bit more square. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll even tear this down and put it into my little envelope. I've got these little tiny scraps, so they're not floating around. So this will go over here. That's a napkin. Oh, this is interesting. This like really textured paper. I don't know. I kind of like that with this, actually, better than with the other blues. I think that it works better with this. I'm going to put it there. There are some, see, I don't know that I will use this, but these colors work well together. So I'm going to go with that. I feel like I lost some of my light. Let me see if I can. Oh, that's probably not really better, is it? All right, maybe it's a little bit better. All right, so I feel like these colors here go well with this, even though I'm not sure that this is a design I would normally use. It's a little cartoony for my particular style, but maybe it'll end up in the background, or maybe I won't use it, but it definitely goes well with those colors. Think big. Do I like that with this? Or do I like it with this? I think I like it over here. Um, I've got this leaf playing card. I think I'm going to put that with these over here. Because there's some other green stuff. There's some tree things, and there's these greens I'm going to put over here with these greens and yellows. Sort of start this little pile here. There's some blue I can put with that. Maybe I want to just put the blue and the wine together over here. I think I want to do that. This green will go here. I do like to add in some contrast. So like the blue contrasting with the wine. This is very bright blue. I don't actually like it with any of those things. So back in the bin it goes. This is gold and kind of orange yellow, but I definitely have some gold and some orange in this. So I'm going to put it with this, even though it's maybe not a great fit with these greens, it still all feels kind of cohesive, right? So this is how I made the clusters. I just, every time I sat down at my desk, I would dig into this bin and pull out a few things and kind of sort them into different categories and decide where I wanted them to go. Oh, that with that. It's a great fit. And I could get up and walk away and it wouldn't hurt um to feel like I was in the middle of something. I didn't feel like I was walking away, leaving something unfinished because it was really pretty easy to just pick it up or to walk away when I needed to. And so it was a great project for this weekend because that's really all I needed was some very low pressure. You're going to hear me say that a lot over the coming months because I am really not great in the winter time. I'm very much like a summer person. Um, I do better in the summer. Just in this little bin here. I do better in the summer, spring and summer when the weather is warming and the sun is out and I can, I don't know. I feel so much better at that time of year. So, um, winter is tough. Winter is a struggle a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna bring this in. This is like it's a little flower sticker, but I think I love it with this. Even though the purple probably goes better with this pile, I kind of like it over here with these colors too. And there's no rules. It doesn't really matter. Um, so, I just am making clusters of things that I like and kind of putting them together and then saving myself some time and energy in the future. I really, really like this, although it doesn't necessarily fit with any of these that I have. But I think I want to leave it out so I can use it in something. I'm going to put that up there. Yeah. So I'm going to be just surviving through the winter. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to that, if you find that to be a challenge for you as well. I I've always been this way for as long as I can remember. And I do use some strategies to try and help me to manage the seasonal affective disorder. Um, that's really pretty. Isn't that pretty? I think I'm going to go with that over here. It's a lot darker than any of the other stuff, so it does add some contrast, but it's got some colors that pull out these purples and blues, and so it looks really good together, I think. Yeah. So I do have some strategies. I have a sunlight in my office at work, and I stay active. I go to the gym regularly. Also at work, I'm not biking anymore because I did finish my 100 days of biking for the year, and it's really good timing because it's actually it's starting to get really cold. So I'm kind of glad that it's over for the year because it was really uncomfortable biking in the cold weather. But I do try to stay active even without the biking because I know that that will help me to feel better when I need to feel better. What are your strategies? If any of you struggle with seasonal affective disorder, what do you do? I actually find that being creative helps, but the irony is that it's harder for me to be creative when my energy is super low. So, it becomes kind of a catch 22 where I need to create to feel better, but I need to feel better to create. Um, so that's why things like this that are pretty low pressure are so effective for me, at least. So if you find that that's something that you struggle with, you might want to try something like this. Just kind of build up a cache of um, sort of easy projects that you can do without feeling, oh, I love that, without feeling um like like you're really invested in the outcome. I think that helps me because then I don't have to worry about not being able to finish it or if it doesn't turn out the way that I want it to. I still feel like I'm messing with the angle here, trying to get the right frame. So yeah. So here's what I'm doing, you guys. I'm just creating and I'm trying things out and I'm saying, does this work in this pile? And I think this does. So I'm going to leave it there. But sometimes things just don't. Like, I love this textured black paper. I like it. But it just doesn't really work with any of these. It kind of maybe could work with this one. But no, it's too much dark all at once. So I'm going to let it go. Oh, here's more of this paper that I liked. It's going up here with the other one. I'm going to use it in something. I'm going to put this purple over here. Even though most of these are like blues, I do have some like hints of purple. And so I'm going to just start pulling in a little bit more purple. Oh, I have really enjoyed this. I needed this project this weekend, and hopefully it will help me to get like my mojo back so that I can get back to working on my other projects, the Oracle deck and the Cascade journal. And I need to make my Florida journal. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll pack this stuff up, clean my desk off, and dig out this binding tool and start building my Florida journal. That sounds like it would be a fun project. I don't really like either one of those with that. All right, folks. Thanks for joining me. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you struggle from seasonal affective disorder as well and what you do and how you manage to be creative, even in spite of that. I love to hear other people's experiences with it and how you handle it. So I will yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm feeling pretty good right now, and I might actually put this away and start working on something else. So hopefully there'll be another video up soon. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for being here.